I want to speak about how the culture of today and our society as a whole, especially for younger people, perceive certain emotions as to be negative and to be avoided, like they're bad. And if you feel these things, then you're bad, they're bad, and it's just all these really like cutting labels into all these different things. And I've got a big problem with that, because in my personal belief, and just in general scientific terms, every single emotion has a purpose. Whether that's anger, jealousy, shame, guilt, anger, I already said that one. Every single one of them, everyone has a purpose. Even the positive ones, like happiness, joy, pride, all of those emotions have a purpose. And so I think by avoiding the so-called negative ones, like anger and all the other ones I just mentioned, all we're doing is just creating really insensitive people who just cannot handle anything. Because if all you're doing is avoiding any kind of discomfort, you don't want to feel anger, you don't want to feel anxiety or shame, guilt, sadness, all you're doing is just making yourself mentally weaker. You have to think about it like your immune system, right? Because if throughout your life you don't experience any exposure to any kind of germs or anything along those lines, eventually your immune system is compromised because it can't handle any kind of like little bits of bad bacteria, because your immune system isn't accustomed to it. And it's the same thing with your emotions. It's like if all you're doing is trying your best to avoid the bad emotions and just focusing on experiencing the positive ones, well, when real life hits you, which it inevitably will, whether your loved one dies or you experience some financial hardship, whether you get yourself into debt, anything like that, which happens to most of us. And I mean, especially with someone dying in your life, that happens to all of us. No one can avoid that. And so to avoid negative emotions just completely destroys your mental resilience to anything. Because, for example, like anger, it motivates you and it keeps your boundaries protected. So when someone crosses a boundary of yours and you're like, actually, no, absolutely not, step the back, it's my boundary. But I mean, obviously that's just putting it bluntly, but that's pretty much what anger does. You know, it motivates you and it protects you in a way. It protects your mentality and yourself as a person. Fear does the same thing. Especially if you see someone walking down the street with a big machete and they're coming towards you and they're shouting at you and threatening you. If you don't feel fear, then you have no motivation to leave, to run, escape, and save your life. So obviously it has a reason to be there. It protects you, it keeps you alive. And then guilt is pretty much like a moral compass. And so if you do something that's outside of your values or the morals that you've been taught or you've developed over your life, then obviously a feeling of guilt is like, okay, I've done something wrong and I've done something that's not what I believe to be a good thing. And so you feel guilt for it. It's built into your head, it's built into your biology and your brain chemistry, and it's there for a reason. Now, shame is a tricky one, because in general, it can be a good thing because it keeps people in check. If someone's doing some fucked up shit and bad behavior, people of society, people who say people or attack people and assault people and do all kinds of immoral shit, all you'll see throughout society is people shaming that person. And as they shouldn't be behaving in that way. They shouldn't be trying to essay people and attack people and assault people. That's not right. And so shame works in that way. Now, of course, I know shame can be used in a negative fashion. Like obviously people can use shame to manipulate and or coerce people into certain behaviors that are desirable to them. It's a double-edged sword. So obviously that one is a tricky one, but still it has its place. And then joy and happiness, like of course every single person on the planet wants to experience these emotions, because you know, who doesn't want to be happy and who doesn't want to be filled with joy and good feeling and just euphoria. I've got something in my eye. Everyone wants to experience those emotions. And again, they're there for a reason. That's your brain's reward system. Obviously, you feel happy and you feel rewarded when you do, for example, when you do something difficult. Let's say you go to do a workout that was really difficult, but you got through it and you hit a peak and you're stronger than you were the last session. And then obviously you're feeling ecstatic because your brain's full of endorphins, you feel joy, you feel happiness, and it's your body rewarding you for participating in a positive action. And so that's a really good thing. Even sadness, because I mean, all of us feel sadness at some point in our lives. Like every single one of us. No one is averse to feeling sad. And again, that also has a purpose. It signals to people that, you know, you've lost, and it brings you into a place where you have to kind of slow down and process things and really like think about what you're going through. And it also shows to other people that maybe you need some extra support, you know? And Same with disgust. That also has a purpose. You know, let's say you go into your fridge and you leave something in there for a few months, and now it's got its own little microsystem or little community of micro friends. And obviously it's spoiled food, it's all moldy and you can't eat it. And then obviously you go to get it out, you go to smell it, and you're like, naturally, and that's disgust, and that's protecting you, because if you were to eat that, 9 times out of 10, you're going to throw up and you're going to be sick, and you're going to get some bad shit in your stomach that you do not want in there. And so that's what that is about. That's why you feel disgust, because it protects you. And then you got one of the most important ones that everyone, of course, just like joy and happiness, everyone wants to experience this one. Love and connection with people. And that's exactly what love does. It helps you connect with people, it helps you create bonds, and it makes you feel really, really good with certain people. And that's what it's about. It's about building relationships with that person, and that's what that emotion does. You feel love towards someone. It makes you want to treat them well and respect them and do nice things for them. And of course, like that's all a part of how society runs. And not even just a society, like your personal friends, your family, like all that kind of thing it's such an important thing. And then you've got, of course, curiosity. Now everyone's curious like every day of the week about different things all around, but that curiosity inside your mind, it drives you to explore and like uncover new things and go on, you know, learning experiences. It increases your adaptability, and it makes you into a more experienced whole person. And then pride. Everyone wants to feel pride. It reinforces those achievements that you've really, really worked hard for, and it makes you feel good in yourself. It helps build self-esteem. So I feel good in myself that I've done that. Pride especially comes out of something that was difficult, or that made you feel uncomfortable, but you still did it anyway. And that's where that pride comes from. And again, that's also a motivational thing. It pushes you towards self-mastery and self-development, and it's such an important thing to utilize when you feel it. And I also want you guys to pay attention to the fact that I didn't just list out all the negative ones and say that they also have their purposes. It's also obviously the positive ones too. Like every single emotion that we experience, it all has a purpose and it all has a driver into certain behaviors that we need to exhibit to survive. That's basically what it is. But the issue with how I think, especially in our culture, with the younger people, you know, people who are in their teens and or 20s, even 30s and beyond, a lot of the time as well, is we've confused the feeling of comfort with strength. And that's just not what it is. When you avoid uncomfortable things, it doesn't make you stronger, it makes you weaker. Like I said before, what we're doing is, because people are just avoiding negative emotions, all we're really doing is just bubble wrapping these people up and just keep avoiding these negative emotions and all this discomfort until they just cannot handle reality. And that's why you end up with some of the most ridiculous shit that's going on these days. And it's just made our entire world that we're living in now with insanity. And so when you avoid negative emotions, all you're doing is just putting yourself down this really, really dangerous path of just avoidance. And because no one's experiencing these emotions, the next time, let's say you do actually manage it, let's say for 3 months you manage to avoid everything negative possible, and your life is just pure joy and happiness for 3 months. And then because you've avoided, like actively avoided, not just no experience, but you've gone out of your way to avoid these certain things, sooner or later, you won't have a choice but to face something head on. And when it comes along, because you've just been in your comfort zone for so long, you're not going to be prepared to deal with harsh reality of what life brings you. People in your life, if they pass away or you have financial struggles, all these things, they happen to all of us. And I just want to repeat the analogy that I said before. Your emotional system is just like your immune system. If you avoid negative emotions, i.e. if you avoid bad germs, quote unquote, and all you do is expose yourself to all the positive ones, your immune system and or your emotional system, it gets weak. And then obviously with avoiding harsh or bad emotions, it makes you fragile and it makes you just incapable of handling just basic life. Whether you want to accept it or not, especially with something as harsh as someone passing away, it is one of life's things that it just happens to everyone, and it's to be expected. So one thing I want you guys to take away from this video is to no longer categorize an emotion as good or bad. What I want you to do instead is think about it, whether you're feeling anger, sadness, guilt, shame, whatever it may be. I want you to ask yourself what that emotion is for and where it's coming from. Suppressing emotions, it just causes this really, really bad cycle of avoidance. And it's not healthy at all, because you lose your ability to process things and or handle difficult situations when they eventually and inevitably come up. So no longer suppress your emotions. You need to learn to channel them and learn from what they're trying to tell you about your life and what your current situation is. Because especially in a time like this, we really don't need softer human beings. We need people who can handle being people. All of us know the state that the world is in right now. And having people who are soft and unable to handle the way the world is, it just doesn't help anyone. No one benefits from this. You literally cannot live a life just on half of the full spectrum of emotions. That's what a part of being a human is, right? You get to experience the entire spectrum of emotions and all the different experiences. And I think that's what's beautiful about it. Even though the negative and or so-called bad emotions, they don't feel good to experience, it is part of the human experience. And I think when you truly learn to appreciate that, I think your life will improve drastically. Anyways, guys, that brings us to the end of the video. If you guys agree with the insights that I've given you guys in this video, comment below, tell me what you think, and tell me what your opinions and thoughts are about this topic, because I'm always very interested to know what you guys think about it as well. So if you like this kind of content, do not forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and press the bell notification icon button on the top of the screen so you do not miss out on these videos, because I'm just full of knowledge, man, and I want to give it to you guys so I can help you develop and get what you want out of life. So, on that note, it's now time to go and put the work in. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.